Yeah,
All right.
welcome everyone. I'm going to introduce Laura Spear, who will be giving us our PI/PR training. And your official title is Zone 3228 Representative, or what's your official title?
I am the incoming Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 32.
Oh, okay,
Having
good.
said that, I've been an assistant public image coordinator for the zone for the past 3 years. I'm also finishing my term on Rotary International's Communications Committee.
Oh,
I'm
great.
one of 6 people from around the globe. I'm one of 2 Americans, and the other American is the chair, Jeffrey Catterett, who was
Oh,
the former
yes.
director. So in fact, I'm going to Evanston next week. So I really feel honored that I'm back in my home territory for now.
Well, we're glad to have you, Laura.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you now.
All righty, so today, this is your official public image training. And I'm really going to talk about 3 things. First, brand, and why is it important to think about the Rotary brand? Secondly, people of action. What is it? How does it fit with Rotary public image branding? And then we're going to go into the real fun stuff, which is a demo at the brand center. So if anybody has a question, feel free to speak up or put something in the chat room. We can make this interactive and make it appropriate for you. So let's get started. All right, so topic number 1, why should we even care about promoting Rotary and branding and all of that stuff? Well, when you think about it, a lot of people get confused about what Rotary stands for. And in fact, back in 2001, Rotary International did this big worldwide global survey. They interviewed Rotarians, business owners, nonprofit leaders, community leaders, and asked them questions about, what is Rotary? Have you heard of it? Do you know what it means, what we do? And they, at that time, 60% had heard of Rotary. They were totally confused about what it was, but they said, yep, we've heard of it, we've heard of it. So starting in 2013, there was this new effort to have consistent branding across the entire globe. And that meant really making sure that we were all saying the same thing, that we had a common voice and visual identity system. That's a technical term for things like logos and color palette and fonts and imagery and all of that other good stuff. And so then they followed up in 2015 with the similar survey. Great news, we've improved. Up to 75% have heard of Rotary. So we should be really patting ourselves on the back, right? Well, unfortunately, people were still confused about what Rotary stood for. And in fact, only a little more than 1/3 of the people could really articulate that Rotary was a service organization. But worse yet, 60% of those respondents had no clue if there was a local Rotary club in their community. Now, we all know the good stuff about Rotary. If you were to interview Rotarians, which was done in 2018, you see words like service and fellowship and friendship and networking and connections and leadership and diversity and integrity and all these wonderful words that we're so proud of. But again, you go outside the Rotary world, you get a slightly different story. Oh, it's an elitist, rich organization. You have to be wealthy. It's for people who are not like me. It's a club of old men that did come across. And I think the worst part was, oh, it's a lunch club. It's not a service organization. It's where people go for lunch. So how do we change all of that? Well, first of all, you have to really increase not just the awareness, but the understanding of what Rotary stands for. Are there questions? Okay, I'll continue. So if people know of sales models or pipeline or marketing funnels, any of the jargony business terms, you usually start wide with awareness and then you go into understanding, and it continues. Oh, once I understand, I'm a little more interested. And then, oh, wow, I really want to be part of this. And once you get engaged, you can be really an advocate for the organization. So we are at the awareness. We need to move down to understanding. And the way we do that is through the Rotary brand. And why do we want to do that? Because the more people understand, the more they become engaged, the more they become evangelists for this organization, all of a sudden you're going to have greater presence in the broader world. More people know what we stand for, understand it, want to be part of it. It can lead into increased membership. It can help your existing members become more engaged. You can increase your fundraising, your sponsorships, and the good work that we do around the world. And that is all done through consistency. That means my club, your club, your club. We all look and feel and say similar things. Okay, you're convinced about that, right? So how are we going to do this? Where do you start? First of all, there is the Brand Center, which was launched in 2013 and continues to be updated on an almost monthly basis. This is where you go for all things brand. It includes everything you can think of, guidelines and templates, logos, what colors we should be using, sample brochures that you can customize. I can go on, but I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So the Brand Center is the single place. And I know I have seen Facebook pages and emails. Oh, I like this graphic. I like that graphic. People playing around, but this is the single source of truth. This is where we should go to get our core materials and to customize what we have for our use. First of all, there used to be a guide, I say used to be, called the Voice and Visual Identity System. It was a PDF that was printed. You could get it from the Rotary store, or you can download a PDF version of it, which was 10 or 11 megabytes large. It was huge. So what they decided to do at Rotary International was to strip out a lot of that content and put the essence of it on the Brand Center webpage. So we're going to take a look at it in a minute, but it's going to take all that heavy document and put it into easy to use pages that you can look at, read at, and then use templates so that you don't even have to memorize all of that good stuff. And the key foundational part of the identity system is what most people call the logo. So in Rotary nomenclature, they call it the master brand signature. So remember way back in 2011 when they did the initial survey, people just saw a blue and yellow wheel. They're like, huh, is it a bicycle shop? Is it a machinery company? It's got gears. They had no idea what it was. So the word Rotary was added to a freshened, updated version of the wheel. So that is the complete logo now. That master brand signature is the word Rotary with the yellow wheel. Now, if you're using something small, you have the option of using it without the word Rotary and International. You can find that on Brand Center. But this is the official logo that everyone should be leveraging. And if you look at the bottom, you're going to see Rotary clubs, Rotary International, and the Rotary Foundation. They all look alike, right? They're all part of the same family. This is what we use for promoting our own service activities, projects, fundraisers, and so on. Rotary Club of, or club, or blank Rotary Club. It depends on how your club was chartered. We're going to be using that for our logo. And I think almost everybody does. I did look through the 7910 clubs, and most of them have this look and feel, which is great. Thumbs up. So this is what it looks like in action. So you can see Rotary Club of Evanston, and here's the district, and here's a zone version. Here's that example where you can put club at the bottom if you're chartered. I think Hudson, for example, has Hudson Rotary Club. And then Rotaract has the same look and feel. They have a different color, but they use that same placement for defining what Rotaract club or organization it is, whether it's district, zone, or club. Interact does the same thing. It's a lighter blue. Okay, so now, I hope you guys can hear this.
Laura, did you share sound when you shared that?
Can you hear it?
No, no. You just
Darn it.
reshare. Stop share, reshare, and then jump to it, or maybe.
I'll try it again. Any luck?
No.
Okay,
No.
well, I'm going to skip over this and I will send out the link. It's only a 30-second little video, but it talks about what, in fact, I'll do a voiceover. All right. So they have 3 questions. Anybody have a guess? Is it number 1, number 2, or number 3?
Oh, which is right.
Yeah.
Which one?
What's the question? Number 3.
You got it. That's exactly right. I have a lot of these on my desk, by the way. The month. Thank goodness for closed caption, huh? All right, what do you think, audience?
No.
No, no. What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, one more. Okay, why is that correct?
Says club of.
And it's using the proper formatting and with the word Rotary above it and the yellow wheel next to it.
And font.
And font.
Yay! All right, I'll go back to this guy. Okay, so a few rules about Rotary logos. Number 1, always use your club or district identifier when you're using the Rotary logo. Rotary with just the wheel, without this stuff underneath or above or around it, is from Rotary International, Evanston. That's it. If you're trying to promote an activity, a project, a fundraiser, a sponsorship, use your club or district name. Number 2, and I see this all the time. Let's turn the wheel into something as a wheel. So we don't want that. We don't want that at all. Even this contribute overlays the wheel. We want to retain the essence of the complete image. By the way, these are all, the Rotary trademark is legally defined and we have to use it consistently to legally defend it. Just so you guys know. Okay, number 3, this is the worst. I saw 3 of these in this week alone. Do not use images or graphics within the Rotary logo or the wheel. So I think it's pretty obvious with Rotaract. You got this boat. Sorry. No, 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 no. And Saint-Germain is not in the right format. Secondly, the Mickey Mouse ears, no way. No, doesn't go. I think you guys probably also understand you don't embellish the logo. So yes, they have Rotary Club of Solon with this nice little yellow wheel, but then they added a little graphic and image for it. No, that doesn't work either. And this one may be the trickiest. And the reason why is because they have Rotary with the wheel as part of this image. It looks like kind of the sun coming up. How you would fix it would be to put your Rotary Club of New Tampa Noon at the bottom, and you could have a picture above it if they want to do something visual. But you don't try to create a logo that encompasses different colors and words and images like storks. Okay, rule number 4, I see this all the time as well. Excuse me. Anything yellow and blue, that old wheel, get rid of it. We have had the quote new logo since 2013. That is going on 10 years. It's been 9. So at this point, the people were, oh yeah, we got to use up what we had. Oh, we want to use our banners. Oh, we want to use up our flyers. Oh, we want to use up our badges. At this point, get rid of it. We're going on 10 years. Get rid of it. Another thing that I've seen a lot is the little blue and yellow as an image for social media. Don't do it. You can go to, for example, Facebook, look for Rotary International, click on their yellow wheel and save that image to upload to your own site. So get rid of the yellow and blue. You don't want to see it. It looks old. Okay, here's what not to do. So my question to you, do these look like they come from the same organization? No, that was rhetorical. No. They're so different, you can't even tell that we are all part of a family. Conversely, you can see the Rotary, Rotaract, Club, and Interact logos have a consistent look and feel. The colors may be a little different, but the fonts are the same, the treatment is the same, the sizing is basically the same. And so you can tell it's all part of one family. Okay, here's the other thing that comes up a lot. Well, we partner with another organization like Habitat, or we partner with Toastmasters, or we partner with a bank to put on a special service project. Well, there is a way of treating that, and they call it a lockup. So in these examples, you can see on the left, lockup examples with partners. So Holly Springs is partnering with Helping Hands. Rotary District 6270 is partnering with Toastmasters. But what if you are running a program just from your club? Well, here's an example. Rotary Club of Evanston puts on a yearly Taste of Evanston. They're not branding it as something new. They're not creating a separate identity or visual treatment for it. They're really creating that lockup using their club logo and then a text treatment over here of what their program name is. That's what we should all be doing. Here, a Rotaract has a very similar example. You can create these lockups in the brand center. It's pretty easy. And then one more thing about logos, the presidential theme. I can't tell you how many times people say, well, I don't like this year's theme. I like the one from 3 years ago, so we put that on our website. Or, oh, we got the new one. It was announced at International Assembly. We got to put it everywhere. Well, the reality is the presidential theme changes every year. And if it changes every year, it's going to confuse people, particularly in the public. We want them to be consistently seeing the Rotary logo with the wheel and your club name, not necessarily what the president of the year has decided to select to motivate Rotarians. This is for internal use only. And another point, it always has to be used with the Rotary logo, whether it's on the screen, as you can see, is a lockup where you have Rotary on one side and the theme on the other, or you can have the Imagine Rotary theme on the top of a banner, but the Rotary with the wheel at the bottom. They just have to appear on the same thing. Any questions about logos? Everyone loves it. They can do it. They're never going to turn it into designs. Yeah, okay. In addition to going to the brand center, you can learn more about logos and the brand and all of its elements by going to the Learning Center on My Rotary. They have so many different public image classes. They are adding more. They range anywhere from like 15 minutes to a couple hours, depending on how deep you want to go. If you are a public image chair for your club, you might want to take this detailed 2 hour and 15-minute 8-course thing over many, many hours. It's good, bite-sized chunks, but anybody in your club and everybody in your club can look at this, the Rotary brand, it's 15 minutes, or the logo, it's 30 minutes. It goes into more detail about how you can use it, why you should use it, and what not to do. All right. So now we talked about branding. That was kind of the foundational aspect. And when they went back and did that second survey and they realized people still didn't quite understand what Rotary stood for, came up with this campaign called People of Action. Now take a look at this picture. This is classic. Who's looking at the camera? No one. Who's handing out a big check? No one. Who's waving? No one. What we're trying to do is show our service projects in action. And it really builds on that foundation that originated in 2013. Join leaders, exchange ideas, take action. So what we're trying to show is that we are partnering with other leaders, other Rotarians, and problem solvers to really understand what the needs are for our community. We share ideas of how we're going to solve it, and then we create sustainable, lasting change. 3 parts. That's all it is. If somebody asks you, what is Rotary about? We are leaders who partner with other leaders to solve problems in our community to create lasting change. And then you can go into examples. So how do you tell that story? Well, and the reason why we want to do that is because we are consistently then answering that question about what is Rotary, who are you, what do you do, and how are you different from the Lions Club and all the other United Way and service environments and organizations that are out there, because we are leading the charge, partnering with others for sustainable change. We're not just handing out checks. All right, it's consistency again, repetition and consistency. And how we tell our story is using a messaging framework. You think about, here's a need that we identified. Here's what we did. Here's who benefited and how. Here's whom we partnered with. And this is the bottom line impact. We made a difference. Kind of cool, very simple. And I bet every one of you has on your cell phone pictures of a service project that your club has done. And you can use that with this framework to tell your People of Action story. And it's not just a social post or an article. You can put it on your website. You can put it in a club brochure. You can create print ads and put those in local media. You can put them on TV and radio as PSA and spot ads. Again, you're trying to tell a story of how you are making a difference for sustainable and lasting change. And there are lots of resources available to help you. Guess where you can find them? Brand Center. These are just some of the examples that are available. You can get them out of the box from Rotary International, or you can customize for your own club in your own activities. But one thing I do want to call out, let's look at those photo tips again. Any of those people looking at the camera, holding a check, waving, arms around each other? No. They are really showing people making a difference in action. I'm going to skip over this because I'm going to show you. All right, before I get to the demo, any questions? Okay, here we go.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I'm in the mountains, so I'm a little bit delayed here, but I just want to go back to the logo question again. You talked about clubs, you talked about Rotary International. What about satellite clubs? What about action groups? What about community corp groups? How do they just use their international logo?
So Rotary International has gone out and started working with all of the action groups to update their logos so that there's a lockup treatment. In fact, I just got something from WashRag just this week, I believe, and you'll see Rotary logo on one side and then the Wash logo on the other side. So it's a lockup. Community Court, that's kind of secondary. They're trying to get through, first of all, the Rotary action groups, the districts, then the clubs, and then they'll continue the outreach. You can use the same treatment for your satellite clubs if they're known as a satellite club. So for example, I'm going to Providence. Providence has the Providence Rotary Club, but it also has the Metro Club of Providence, which is really a satellite club. But they don't call themselves a satellite club, even though that's how it's organized. Does that help, Ken?
Yeah, yes, it does. The other thing is, and I ran into this, when you're a committee of the district, you use the district logo, is that what you do?
Yes, correct. Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Any other questions? All right, this is where the fun starts. Oh, and I wanted to show you real quickly. See that? That's what you should be using for your social media, okay? And you can click on it, and then you can actually save the image and then upload it for your own treatment, for your own page. Okay. All right, so now here we go. How do you get into the brand center? Well, there are 3 ways to do it. Rotary.org/brand center. Number 2, brandcenter.rotary.org. But I'm going to show you the long way because they all require you to log in. So I go into rotary.org. I got to move this guy. Come on, move. Here we go. And I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. There we go. My Rotary. Now I have to log in. So if you have a club runner login, this is different. If you don't have a rotary.org login, it's very simple to create one. You use your email and you specify a password. There you go. Of your choice. Got to watch out for typos. Okay, so there's my email. And there's my password. And I'm going to sign in. It's not the fastest thing. There we go. Go to manage. And you will find Brand Center and click on it. So those other ways are shortcuts. Just like I said before, you could do rotary.org/brand center or brandcenter.rotary.org as you see in the URL here. And this takes you to the home page of the Brand Center. Now there are different ways of navigating around it. You can click on these top level links, or you can just scroll and you can see tiles. They're the exact same thing. So I'm going to click on our brand. And you're going to see brand story and elements and how to promote Rotary. And I'm like, I want to know what those basic elements are again. So click on learn more. Oh, this is really simpler versus that PDF. And it goes into lockups and the master brand signature and things like you never use the mark of excellence or wheel by itself. But I really want to know what that blue color is that I should be using. So you can see on this page, it actually has all of the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors just kind of laid out. You want to stick with the top row if you can, the first three in particular, and the most important is Rotary Royal Blue. The yellow was originally designed to be just a pop of color for emphasis. And as you scroll down, you can see different colored variations. So if you're working with a printer, they may ask for a Pantone PMS color, or a CMYK color, or even hex. But most Rotarians are not professional designers, and all they want to know is, for my PowerPoint or my Microsoft Word or my Google, what RGB value should I be using? Red, green, blue. And you can see those colors here. And as you can tell, blue is not blue is not blue. So all of these colors have been designed to be cooperative. They work together. Additionally, they are designed to reflect our personality and values of Rotary as an organization. So if you go down here, you can see this azure and the sky blue, but then look at that cardinal red. Oh, that's for the End Polio Now logo. Oh, that cranberry is what they use for Rotaract. This sky blue is for Interact. Oh, so that's the color that they're using for logos. And you can go in and do this for not just colors, but you can go into typography. Like, what fonts do you use? Well, if you're a professional designer and you have already paid for some of these, you can use Frutiger and you can use Sentinel as your secondary font. But most people don't have that. So like Google uses a lot of Open Sans and Arial. I know Microsoft is big on Arial. And then Georgia's the free version. It's got a little serif. It's kind of used for secondary text, whether it's a headline or a caption. And if you have something that is text heavy, just stick with Arial. It's clean, it's easier to read. All right, I'm not going to go into too much more on the brand elements. So I'm going to go back to the home. Let's go to logos, just in case somebody does not have a club logo already. You can click on the template and say, yep, I need one for my club. And this is a brand new production system on the back end. So I think it's still a little slow. They need to streamline it a little bit. I apologize for the wait. Cha-chunk.
Yeah, I noticed, Laura, that the way you download it is a little bit different from like a year or two ago.
Oh yeah, they changed the whole brand center interface. See this back-end system called Chili Editor? That's new. And they rolled that out like a beta in February, and then full-blown was in March. So it's really new.
And I also noticed that you need to allow pop-ups for Rotary.org.
Not necessarily.
No, I couldn't get the download until I allowed the pop-up.
Oh, well, maybe it was your system. I don't know. I use Windows. Maybe Apple users are different.
Yeah, I use an Apple.
Yeah. Okay, so here's where you can change your alignment. So you can say, I want it above the logo, or I want it in between, okay? Or I want it below. and I'm going to use my club. So I have Rotary Club of Neshoba Valley. That's it. That's it. And I press download file. Now it gives you 3 file formats: PDF, JPEG, and PNG. So if you're working with someone to embroider shirts, you would want the PDF. If you want something that you can put onto your digital screens, use the JPEG. If you want a transparent background, use PNG. 99% of the time, I just use JPEG. And that's going to go download into my download file. There it is. Now pop it up. Voila! Isn't that easy? Very, very simple. Okay, so now let's do something a little more sophisticated. Let's go back to the beginning. No. Let's go to Brand Center. Let's do a People of Action ad. Let's try that. So if you want to learn more about People of Action, you click on that tab. Pretty simple. But if you want to create a custom version, you click on Templates. Okay. So you can do a print ad. The print ad can be sized like 8.5 by 11. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a little bit of text where you can put the highlights of your story. Or if what I tend to do is I either post a picture that looks like this on our website with a story, or I put it on our social media platform. So you have 2 choices. You have the banner, see how it's long and stretches out. You can put that at the top of your Facebook page, for example. Or you can use kind of like a regular picture size. So we'll do that. Okay, now we got to wait again. Oh, this one's a little faster. All right. Now this is new as well, Victor. This came out in the March timeframe. So by default, you pick one of these verbs and it comes up with connect, but these are the verbs that we are allowed to use. They have been legally reviewed for global use and translation. And so if you start throwing in, oh, together we have fun, that's not working. It's not consistent and you could actually get in trouble. We don't want anyone to get in trouble. So connect, empower, and polio, fight hunger, inspire, learn, mentor, promote peace, save lives, and transform. And pretty much any one of your service projects can fit into one of those categories. Some of them are a little loose, like transform, and inspire, empower, but use the one that you think is the most appropriate. So we just finished a Rise Against Hunger, and I know Bedford either just finished one or is planning to do one very soon. So by default, there are a lot of pictures that you can choose from Rotary International. And this little cloud thing here is how you can pick which one you want to use. And you're like, well, yeah, let's try this one. See what that looks like. Come on. Okay, well, that's not what I'm trying to say. I think I better use one of my own pictures. So go back up to image source, upload your own, and then you're going to click on this little cloud again. And it's going to say, okay, well, then you got to go to this little thing in the corner here called upload your own image. Now I'm going to show you something that's really nifty. I think it's this one. Yes. Okay, so it's uploading a picture from our food packaging Rise Against Hunger event. Get a cup of coffee. Okay, come on, there we go. Oh, but I don't want that. That doesn't look right. I think I want to edit it. All right, so I'm going to go over to crop or resize. Okay. First of all, let's just fix this so it's actually facing the right direction. But I got a itchy trigger finger here. But having said that, I'm going to have a lot of white space. I don't want all that white space. Well, let's see what happens. Can I drag? I can. Oh, how cool is that? I can actually, needs to move up a little more. Okay, come on, a little more. Here we go. Okay, let's close that. There it is. Isn't that cool? This is a brand new feature in Brand Center. And I can edit that if I want to move it over to the left or move it down a little bit more so that it's not blocking people's faces. So this gives me the ability to go in and resize, reposition, redo whatever I need to do and make it look great. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, that's much better. All right, so then I say download file. And again, you have your choice of file format. So it's either JPEG or PNG. I 99% of the time use JPEG. It exports it and it will send it to my download folder on my hard disk. So we're waiting for it. There we go. So now I have an image that I can upload to my website or to my Facebook page or on Instagram or even tweet it out if I want to. Kind of cool, huh? I'm not hearing the cheers. Yay! Okay, one last thing I want to mention, and then I'll take a couple questions. It doesn't end there, but wait, there's more. You can actually go in and create your own brochure. Kind of cool. You have a template. You can upload your own pictures. You can actually find interact templates. I gave that to our own interact club. You can find existing resources for World Polio Day. If you wanted to go and find the new 7 avenues of service, you can go in and here's my trick for the day. Going back to Brand Center, get back to the home. There we go. The best way to do that is just type graphics in the search. I discovered this earlier this week. And there you go. A couple things. By default, you're going to see all the languages, but if you only specify English, you're also going to find Asian double byte because they're not able to separate it out. So you can get rid of Italian and German and Portuguese and all that if you want. But then there you go. Here's the icons. Pretty cool. All right. And then you can simply download them. Most of the time you are asked to click on this, I have read and accept the usage terms, and then you just click download. And in this case, you're going to get a zip file with all of that images in it. Kind of cool. So before I end, I just want to make sure you are all aware of how to reach me should you have questions. So I leave you on this note that we are all Rotary ambassadors. It's not public image chairs. It's not district public image chairs. It's not public image zone coordinators. We are all Rotarians and we are all Rotary ambassadors. And if you have questions or anyone in your club has a question, please feel free to reach out to me. Email is always the best way to communicate with me. It's laura@spear.net. Worst case, you can text me on my cell phone if you want, but email, I tend to respond to that much faster. Okay, any questions?
Paula has a question.
Yes.
Hi, so I'm not sure if this is a question that it's pertinent to you, but it does involve using a logo. If our club wanted to get some things printed with the logo on, for example, a jacket or something, do we have to go through specific Rotary vendors, or can we take the logo we download from, rotary.org and take it to another,
I understand. Right, I understand. So Rotary International says that you're supposed to use approved vendors who have been vetted and trained on how to use this. If you are only putting your club logo on a shirt or a jacket, you can download the PDF version and hand that to your vendor.
That's what I was wondering. So that is permissible to do that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. And actually, I have another question, which is not related to that. You mentioned downloading the Rotary wheel to use on social media. Now, on our website, on our Facebook page, I have used our club logo, Rotary Club of Bedford, with the that was downloaded from Brand Center, rather than the wheel.
Let me see, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. I can get you a link to that right now.
Rotary Club of Bedford. Let's see what we have here. It's not wrong. It's just, it's visually hard to see. And so I followed the model that Rotary International uses, which is just the wheel.
Okay.
But you make a really good point that 99.999% of the time, you never use the wheel by itself. And that is supposed to be for enhancing. And you always are supposed to have your little Rotary Club of somewhere in that vicinity. And so I think that's how we get around it, because
Got it right next to it.
yeah, we use that as part of our website, and then you have the wheel. So this is not wrong. It's just, it's harder to see.
Right, but it's confusing that they don't have, well, I haven't been able to find any guidance specific to like where to use the logo versus where to use the wheel.
I think they have that in here. And
Well,
Ken, I know you're there. We'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, Brand Center.
There wasn't anything specific to Facebook that I could find.
Okay, they may not have included that there. Again, I followed the model that Rotary International uses, which for them was just the little wheel.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Ken, you're next.
Thank you. I am president of the Rotary Club of World Disability Advocacy. And I explain that because it explains my next question. And one of the things we want to do, or we're trying to do, is make Rotary more welcoming to people with disabilities. So the question is, the standard photographs that you're using for Rotary photographs that they have for different categories, is there alt text that is written for that, so that somebody who's blind will be able to know, because their reader will have no idea what's on that picture?
Yeah, and that is really based on the back end system. And in fact, I do know that, I'll take a note. There's a little plugin that you can use for things like Club Runner that supports ADA, if you will. And so the alt text tabs that you can add to images. I'm not quite sure if it supports that, but it does support other types of ADA compliance. And let me dig into that a little more for you, Ken.
All right, it would be good if somebody wrote already some standard photo description. So even if you couldn't use the alt text, we could at least put a description with the photo. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And in fact, if you couldn't hear it, but if you saw the video, they did make it closed caption by default. And I know Rotary is very committed to expanding into DEI support. And so I expect there will be something if there's nothing already. But I get it.
Right. We're actually very close to Mark Wafer, who's very close to Valerie Wafer, who's very close to Jennifer Jones. So they're working on that. I know that. So
Yeah. Okay, anybody else? All right, Victor, I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you so much for the attention. I hope this was helpful. I hope you all learned something. Good. I see some head nods. That's great. Thanks for joining tonight. And Victor, you wanted to share a video.
Yeah, I wanted you to point out all the errors that I did on the video. Okay, just a second. Yeah, that's it. You see it?
We can hear yours. All right, I'm going to throw it back at the audience. What did you guys think? What worked?
Hail.
The hail. From a branding perspective, what worked?
The action, that they were doing a service project, that they were, and there were a lot of people involved.
It showed engagement. It showed people being active. It showed people in action. Absolutely. It told a story. That was awesome. They're very powerful.
And
It was short.
And it shows that they partnered with another organization too.
Excellent. Yep, they partnered with another organization. So from a branding perspective, what would you do to make it just a little bit even better? How about that opening scene where you have the two logos at the top? Perhaps using a lockup treatment where you would have the club logo and this line and then the Epilepsy Foundation on the other side. So that would be one. There was a very brief people of action overlay at the beginning. Together we connect. What would make it even better? Oh, you guys are so shy. Okay, I'll tell you my answer. Not necessarily the right one, but I would take one of the scenes that said over 120 bags, where you see the people by the truck loading it up in the hail with umbrellas. And together, we inspire. Together, we whatever, transform. And not that the together we connect is bad, it just doesn't show people doing the work. And that's really what people of action does. Okay, one more thing. What about the fonts and colors?
There was one spot that I couldn't see the logo that well.
Okay, so you want to make sure the placement of the logo pops so people can see
Too
it?
much background. It was too much background. Yeah, I couldn't see it. Just one place out of the whole thing.
Yeah. So there was script writing kind of in purple. I don't know if that matches our colors.
Definitely not.
But overall, I mean, this is really being picky. Congrats on using the right logo. Woohoo! On telling a story in a small amount of time that really shows people in action. So I think that's fabulous. These are just putting icing on the cake. Okay.
Would you take out the two pictures with one of them having two people looking at the camera and the other having the whole group standing there?
Not necessarily. I did like at the end because it was kind of like, we made it. And we are not drowned rats.
Because it
We
was
were
only-
drowned rats.
Because it was only 2 pictures, it didn't overpower the video.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a really good point too. Yeah, because the story really flowed. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Good
the
job.
sound of the hail was really nice.
Well, we are out of time. I'm hopeful, again, this was helpful. You know how to reach me. I'm here to answer questions. My role, by the way, as a coordinator is to be a liaison from Rotary International to the districts in Zone 32. And it goes 2 ways. So if you find something that you need, good point about Ken, looking for those alt tags. If you find you have feedback or it's difficult to find something, send it to me and I'll send it to my contact at Rotary International. Okay. Well, thank you, Victor, for inviting me.